Angkor Wat, the crowds of tourists begin to arrive when the air is still milky cool and the light slate grey. Hoping for a perfect sunrise, they come from all over to explore this UNESCO World Heritage Site. For most, only Angkor Wat and perhaps a few nearby temples remain on their itinerary.
Most tourists who come to see Cambodia just thinking about the Angkor Wat, just thinking about temples area. Nearly 80% they just stop at the Angkor area and no information completely for whole in Cambodian country.
Yet there are few places in the world with such a high concentration of significant archaeological sites. It's the quantity of temples across Cambodia which is so astonishing, and many can be explored without another tourist in sight.
Well, even before you go too far away from here, there's 6,000 to 10,000 tourists come to Angkor Wat each day, and they're jostling for elbow room, frankly. But the archaeological park is 200 square kilometres of temples. It's enormous, and if one works with a good local agent here that is based here, we can get you to many places where you can have an Angkorian temple to yourself. It's almost the golden age of travel.
Travelling by helicopter, I left Siem Reap for Cambodia's northern border with Thailand. The land is dotted in numerous temple sites which speak of more prosperous times for this country. 12th century Bante Chma is a perfect example of the extravagance of that era. It's these bas-reliefs which is what makes Bante Chma so special. Not only are they beautiful, exquisitely done by some master craftsmen, indicating the wealth of the empire at the time, but they also document the historical events that were happening when the temple was built nearly 1,000 years ago. Historians believe this site may have been at the heart of a key strategic city which once rivaled Angkor. Now the non-profit Global Heritage Fund is trying to safeguard the temple and implement small-scale tourism initiatives to attract more visitors. Behind me you can see that some of the temple is covered in scaffolding, and locals here are working on the temple from the nearby villages, learning about stone conservation, repair and excavation techniques.
We would like to work with the local people in Bante Chma because we want to benefit to the local people. So we do some activity, we set up homestay.
If tourism growth is steady and sustainable, the local community here may score a new source of revenue. Access to these sites is improving too. The road and rail network is being upgraded across the country, and there's hope that will distribute tourists more evenly. There is much to see beyond Angkor, like 10th century Koh Ker, where 100 temples are still standing and a dramatic stepped pyramid looms large. The road's also been upgraded to Bung Malaya. This temple's colossal size is only disguised by its collapsed state. Just another one of the many majestic monuments I saw in the region. I'm at Sambor Prey Kuk, a trio of temples halfway between Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, in an area that was controlled by the Viet Cong, so the place is pockmarked with the craters of B-52 bombs. Nowadays, of course, it's well farmland, there's not a tourist in sight, yet these temples are pre-Angkor and just as fascinating historically, dating from the 7th century AD. There is much to explore here for anyone willing to venture into Cambodia's more remote areas, often with the added prize of seeing these places of worship in perfect solitude.